Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today.
Everything's better. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. It is illegal to make a false copyright claim, and such actions may lead to our party seeking compensation for losses. This video was created and published by the Mother-Daughter-ish show in their personal capacity. The opinions expressed in this video are the creator's own and should not be taken as a definitive fact. The validity of any evidence provided should be independently consulted and researched and resource verified for authenticity. And the Mother-Daughter-ish show takes no responsibility for the actions of those viewing this video.
Thank you so kindly.
Be March the 2nd. I mean, is the year rolling along or what?
Too fast.
I think I say that every single year, but it seems like every year it speeds up, which is really strange. I was just listening to somebody on YouTube, and they were just talking about how the weather is changing. She was saying in Florida at 4 o'clock it gets dark there, and I looked out the window and it was literally 4:30. It was literally 4:30, and I just looked out the door and it looked like it was so dark. And I said, she ain't kidding, because it just keeps changing. Even our Easter dates keep changing. Everything keeps changing. So we're just like, whoever's in control of all this stuff, they're like letting us know we don't control anything really as individuals. Well, guess what? You know, this month is Women's History Month.
Yes, I do know that.
I thought that was so exciting, because I was like already thinking about talking about women that have accomplished, but I'll save that for next month, because this month is history. Next month we'll talk about the women right now that are really making a difference. But for today, our topic, of course, is going to be laziness. And so I want to talk about what are those things that affect us, that make us feel lazy, and then how do we handle that? Some people feel bad about it. I never do, because I'm just like, I know I'm doing the most. So when I do feel lazy, and I'll talk about when I feel lazy, and it just really does it for me. But Women's History Month, we're going to be celebrating Joan Bonneau. And I don't know if I know it's Bonneau. I don't think it's Bennett. It's Bonneau, because it's Noit. When I look at it, it made me think of John Benet Ramsey, because, you know, that
Yeah.
celebrating John Bonneau, who wins the first women's Olympic marathon. I thought that was kind of cool to talk about the Olympics, because, you know, we just had the Olympics from it was like February the 1st through February 4th through February the 20th. So we literally just finished with all the hype and excitement for those who really love the Olympics. I know people who, let me tell you something, they watch the Olympics like people who love basketball, football, soccer, things like that. They love looking at the Olympics. So I thought that was kind of interesting that we just got. Do you watch the Olympics or anything surrounding that?
I used to, maybe like around 2009, summer-ish is when I was into like more sports stuff. Around that time, yeah.
And then what happened? You just stopped watching?
I just fell off watching it.
Yeah. Well, it's very, to me, the only type of gaming type sports that I watch that's similar to the Olympics is I love the snowmobile competitions. I love the dirt bike competitions.
Yeah. And
I love the skiing competition. That's why I got so excited when I watched that movie Molly's Game, and it started off with her on the ski slopes. I was like, oh, this right up my alley. So I went ahead and like, let me watch the rest of this movie, because I wasn't sure I was going to like it. But then I liked the character so much. I like her so much that I was like, I think I'll be okay to watch this movie. But it was really good. I like that they started out with that history of, well, she was a ski champion or whatever. But you know what? Let's get into our talk about laziness. When do you think you feel the laziest? Because I know that there are some parents who will say, you know, kids need to get up at this certain time and this and do this, and this, in which I agree with a lot of that. But there are just times when our bodies just want to feel lazy. I know for me, when it's cold and when it rains, and it doesn't have to be at the same time.
That's how I feel too.
I can either be cold or it could just be gloomy and rainy. When it's rainy, all I want to do is I want to close all the window shades. I want to turn off the TV, and I want to go get in the bed under my warm cover and literally just drift off to sleep. And I love waking up to the rain because of the sound. Those are my laziest days.
When you gave me that heater, it made me realize that I don't mind going to sleep like warm and toasty, because usually I'd be one of the people that have to have a fan on or something. But I fall pretty fast going to sleep and sleeping good with warm, especially if it's really like 38 degrees outside.
But I literally, when I just wake up in the morning, it's usually around 2:30, something like that. And I'll just lay there in the bed and go, this is how I want to feel. Because I'd be so nice and warm. I'm like, this is, I realize, okay, my feet are warm, my legs are warm, everything is so nice and toasty. It's like, I don't even want to get up real quick. It's like, I just want to lay there and soak in all of the heat that I can. And I'm like that winter, summer, spring, fall. It doesn't matter what season it is. I want to be warm every season. Even in the summertime, I put the air on a good number. And then if it gets cool in the house at night, as long as I'm under my toasty cover, I'm good. But I feel super lazy when it rains. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I could be riding in a car. I could be on a trip. I could be in a hotel room or in my bed. When it rains, it's a wrap. What's your top one when it does what?
Like out of raining or cold? Because that's what I was gonna say too, though.
Well, no. Out of whatever your choice of what makes you lazy. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be rain or cold. It could be whatever your thing is.
I mean, for me, it's the weather for me. Like if it's raining, or if it's one of those days where I absolutely have nothing to do.
Right.
Which is, a couple times out the week. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine when I went to Ireland with a group of about 67 people, we were there for 14 days, right?
14?
Yeah. You know how many days it rained?
All of them.
14 days.
Yeah.
And what didn't ruin the trip, I should say, is that it would rain in the morning time till about 11 or 12. And then the rest of the day would just be it was cool and gloomy because it was around like in October. It was like cool and gloomy. And then around about 6 or 7 in the evening, it would rain again. And I'm talking about the kind of rain where you don't really want to go up to the countryside. You don't really want to go anywhere. But I'll tell you something that was really weird. When we went to the Titanic Museum, and it started raining, and you're in like the simulation, that freaked us out because we feel like we're really on the boat and it really is raining because they do all the simulation of the thunder and the storm and all the screaming of when people were dying. I mean, it's a true simulation of the actual ship when you go through every single room from one room to the next. And the way they had it set up is from the time you start going through the simulation, it got worse and worse. It got happy with the dancing and the dinner, and then it went on and it got worse and worse. And here's the other eerie thing. The voices that we were hearing was the actual voice recordings. So it was really weird. And it rained all that day, but that was a great 3 to 4 hour experience going.
Oh, that's a good time frame.
3 to 4 hours with all of us. And there were so many people in there. I mean, from everywhere around the world and people that live, in Ireland, but that was really fun. But so can you imagine? I had to literally force myself to be up to go do anything because the rain was just so cool. And we stayed in a castle. So can you imagine?
I remember you said that. Did you go there by yourself?
No, I went there with 67 other people with the Napoleon.
Oh, no, I'm saying like you didn't go with a friend or nothing. You went with another group of people.
No, I was there on my own with that group of people, but that was a foundation, the Napoleon Hill Foundation. I used to do leadership training classes for them. And so everybody that was there were people I was used to traveling with. I'd been to Asia with them. I'd been to Italy with them. I have been many places with these same people because whenever they would post a event to go do a leadership training, we would all get on the phone and go, you going? And it was one lady named Agnes. She lives in Birmingham. And she used to always tell him, if Dawn is not going, I'm not going because she's the only roommate I'll ever have. So we would get on the phone and talk to each other, be like, yeah, I'm going. Okay, I already told her to put me in your room. And she said, I already told her to put. So everybody knew if we was traveling together, don't put us in the room with nobody else.
Yeah. So
that it was kind of cool. So every time we would go and do a trip, we'd always take pictures together because we're like, I think we may have gone on maybe about 5 or 6 trips together. Her name is Agnes Obakur. She's from Nigeria. yeah, that was really good. We used to have a lot of fun. Like when we went to Italy, it was absolutely beautiful weather. Everybody was going to go look at all the Catholic churches and all that. And we had already looked at about 10. So we were good. We had seen Michelangelo, where he was buried in the church. We saw all that. So we got up at 3:00 in the morning, got on the bullet train and went over to Rome and stayed the whole day.
Oh, wow.
But that weather in Ireland, I was just like tired every day. When I got
Is it
back,
like the rainy season? Is it like that all the time?
365 days a year, it's always rainy over there. I didn't know that. And we were in Dublin. I didn't know that. So I didn't have any knowledge going. But most of the time, it's typically raining. And it's not like a 24-hour rain all the time. But it's like in the morning, you're going to get a shower. You're going to get a great day. And then in the evening, you're going to get a shower. And then you'll maybe get a good night or whatever. Because the day we did the Labyrinth walk on the castle property, it rained a little bit. And then it stopped raining. We did our walk. And then we...
But do it be like a hard rain, or do it be like showers, like sprinkles?
The scenery is kind of like gloomy, foggy, and showers, but not misty showers, like actual water showers, like you don't want to be standing out in. And of course, we played in it and took pictures and all that stuff because, again, we were on the property of a castle. So it's like, when else are we going to stay in the castle, right? Like, that's not going to happen. It did let up a little bit of rain when we went over to the Duke of whatever. He was going to be the last Duke they would ever have there. When we went over to their house, which was a castle, I have a picture with him. It didn't rain, so we got a chance to take a lot of good pictures on the property and everything. And so that one, but it was so unpredictable because none of us really knew it was going to do that because all of us were very new to going to Ireland. But, I sit here and I try to think of what else makes me lazy. And I promise you.
I have something that came up.
What?
I would say binge watching a really good show that got me hooked. Like that you're on the show. Like that you're on the show. It's actually really getting good. I'm watching it on something right now, and it's 10 episodes, and I'm on the 4th one. I'm about to start the 4th one. But
okay.
it's really good.
When you binge watch a show, it just takes like the energy out of you because
And if it's really good, you don't want to stop or miss it. Like I need to get back and watch Ozark actually.
So then that means that you have to then try to catch up on your sleep.
Yeah.
You've been watching stuff. It sounds like your grandma. She said that they I think the very first show she ever binged watching, it's all my fault, was Jane the Virgin. Have you ever watched Jane the Virgin?
I only got like halfway through the first season, but I get the gist of what it's about. Yeah.
She binge watched, and I said, you do know that you're 100 and something episodes behind, right? And she was like, yeah, I know. It took them over a couple of months.
That's how I felt with Dexter. Dexter took me 2 months, 2.5, and I was like 8 seasons.
8 seasons ain't nothing. Jane the Virgin had 180 something shows. It was like.
But how long is each episode? An hour?
No, some of them were like 13 to 18.
Oh, see, yeah, Dexter was like an hour.
It started out on the CW channel, and when it first came on, I was in on it because I was like, I like the main actress.
Yeah.
What's her name? Gina Gonzalez. Is that her name? Gina.
I think it is Gina. I don't know her last name though, but yeah, I know.
I like her as an actress, and so I was all in on it. I liked all the, and then the last part they really stole my heart when they brought in Brooke Shields. You probably don't know this, but when I was a kid, a little before I was a teenager, I loved me some Brooke Shields because I had a Brooke Shields Barbie doll, and nobody else in the neighborhood, no other girl.
Let me look it up.
Had a Brooke Shields Barbie doll.
You did tell me that. Yeah, you did tell me that.
By the way, I still have it too. I still have all my.
Oh yeah, because I looked her up. Yeah.
Yep. So I have the Brooke Shields Barbie doll still in my safe place where all my Barbies are, and I loved that. Barbie was my favorite one. She had the most beautiful brunette hair, and she used to wear that red lipstick, and that was my favorite Barbie. So when I saw that they had her on Jane the Virgin toward the end, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Brooke, love Brooke Shields, and she's not doing a whole lot right now as far as TV, but I mean that's one of those people kind of like a Janet Jackson or somebody that you're just not gonna forget. Like I don't care where you are in the world, you're never gonna forget what Lizzie McGuire looks like, right?
Right.
Like you're never gonna, forget what she looks like. But so that's a good one though when you're binge watching shows that will make you lazy. Well, the final thing that I will say is I think if people discover what that thing is that makes them feel lazy, then they can identify it instead of feeling bad. Because I actually know friends that'll like binge watch shows and then they don't get things done during the day when they're supposed to get them done. And then they beat themselves up like, oh man, I didn't get the chance to return a phone call to so-and-so. I didn't get to read my emails. I was over here watching this dumb show. And I'm just like, nah, because I have somebody who it took them, and I know you saw, what was the movie Jay-Z did? The Harder They Fall.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody took 2 months to watch it. Why?
I don't know. I watched it twice in the first day.
First 20 minutes of it, and then she quit watching it, then watched a little bit more and quit. And I'm just like, no, I need you to, in one setting, I need you to watch it because her favorite guy is in there. She likes Delroy Lindo. Like, that's her boo. Like, you know who my boo is. So I was like, you cannot not watch your man all the way through. Like, he's only in it in certain episodes.
Mm-hmm.
She loves Delroy Lindo. And I'm just like, how in the world does it take you 2.5 months to watch one movie? It wasn't a series. So I said, I'm not going to tell you about any more shows or series. Because if I tell you about some of the series that are so good that I watch, it's going to take you to here until you're, too old to see them. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so I know. So I get excited watching shows, but I don't think I've ever watched so much that it made me lazy unless it rains. But the rain, I'll tell you right now, it zaps all of my energy and any thought of me wanting to do anything else. You know what though? The other thing though, when it rains, I like to do things like wash dishes or wash clothes or something like that, very domestic type of thing, because I like the sound from rain.
Mm.
Did I ever tell you that I recorded the rain in the rainforest in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Oh
because I was telling you about the rain app that I use.
Yeah, I still have that recording. It's the most beautiful sound because in the rainforest, it's not only misty, but when the hard rain comes down and it hits those beautiful, big, huge leaves, it sounds the most fake thing you've ever seen in your life. But I was thinking I would love to do something using that rain sound, some kind of talking something, but using that rain sound in the back and just let people know this is my own personal recording. I literally stood outside in the rain and did the recording with a rain jacket on and did the recording. But I'm just glad that rain let us ride horses and zip line and ATV ride and do all the jungle things we wanted to do. I was there by myself, of course. So, I've done so many things by myself that I know for sure right now I would never do again by myself. Like I could literally be still stuck over there in those countries because I don't know Spanish or anything. But that was a time where things felt okay to do. I don't think I'll do that from here on out. The problem is finding travel buddies, finding travel buddies that like to do the same stuff I like to do and that, can just do what they want. But that, it's hard, but it'll happen. I think that's it for today. I really wanted to just talk about laziness because some people look at it as like they feel bad about it. But
especially those that have a lot of stuff to do. I know some people that feel overwhelmed by their plate of to-do list that they just become lazy and don't want to do it at all. Yeah. I got a friend that she'll book an appointment at 4:00 and that'll mean she ain't doing nothing all day until her appointment. Sometimes it's just
I gotta be productive, but I kind of do something like that too. Like I'll go in and I'll find all the events that are happening, and Facebook lists a lot of events. I'll find events that are happening, and I'll put all of them on my calendar. But unless it's something you got to get a flight for, then that's solid. But I'll put all these local events on my calendars. Like right now, I got a bunch of market days, antique shops that have just opened, new food places that are opening. There's a new Days fried chicken new place that just opened over in River Oaks or something. I want to try that because the famous Dave, I hope it's by the famous Dave, the one that's in New York and in Las Vegas, but I want to try them. They had their opening on Saturday. I was going to go to the opening, but then I ended up doing something else. But I'll go in and I'll book up my calendar with different things to do. And then I won't know until that day before if I'm really going to do that thing tomorrow. Like what trumps what over what for me to go to that car show or for me to go drive down to Galveston because they had a free day to go on the pier and then go ride the roller coasters and all that stuff. But it was during the Mardi Gras time or whatever. So it was like, okay, I didn't want to do that because it rained. So yeah. But yeah, I'll do that too. But tell your friend, I understand her pain because she's probably one of those people who like to be on time too.
Yeah, for sure.
I have an appointment at 2:00 and it takes 30 minutes to get over there. Let's just go ahead and leave an hour ahead. Because I'd rather wait on them than to ever have anybody to wait on me.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah, so you're right. Some people do feel bad about being lazy, but I think that if you don't have that downtime, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And those lazy days shouldn't come every single day. And at that point, you need to maybe get checked out or something, or see if something's going on mentally, or something's going on emotionally, or whatever. I think the only time I've ever felt too many days lazy is probably about 2 years ago, during the first part of my January, February, March, April. I just kind of really just did nothing. Just like did nothing, no work, no nothing. Just kind of was like, I don't feel like getting up to, you know how people, you go through that, right? Like you just go through these phases where you're just like, I don't feel like myself today, so I'm going to stay in the bed.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, that's our show for today. And I have to say thank you to everyone that has discovered our show. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has listened to their friend and actually joined our show. And thank you for the comments, and thank you for the subscribing and putting your notification bells and everything on. And we are just so excited to bring you more good topics and conversation starters that you can talk with your mom about, or that moms can talk with their daughters about. And again, that's what we're doing, is we're bringing up the topic, we're giving our comment on it, but the conversation is really for you guys. And keep your eyes and your ears open, because our book is going to be debuting soon. And so we're excited about that, because we can't wait to be able to have our book debut party right here on Zoom.
Yes. Yeah, but like she said, don't forget to keep subscribing and liking our channel. I know a couple weeks ago we realized that we had made it to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So
that
keep
we
commenting.
don't even be following it like that, as far as like looking at the numbers, because we're
I
so
check it maybe.
me
personally, I probably check it a day, probably like, well, a week. I would say I probably check 5 times a week.
That's good.
At the most, because I'm always on YouTube. I'm actually always on YouTube.
Seeing the likes and seeing all the stuff, and I forget to look at how many subscribers we have, because I'm trying to stay engaged, like on Instagram. I've been trying to just stay engaged with people and liking their stuff when they like our stuff too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's our show for today, and until next time, bye for now.
Bye.